are the women, we've come to drum. We are the channel between the earth and the sun. We hold the wisdom of the ancient ways. We will bring peace to these troubled days.
So, welcome everyone. I'm so grateful you're here with me. This journey has been an incredible experience, and I'm just so excited to share it with you. And yeah, I'm just honored that you've taken the time to register, to be here. You've made space in your busy schedules to be with us as vegan women, as way showers for a new way of consciousness, a consciousness that is geared towards love and steps away from fear. So I really honor you for showing up for this. And I will begin with just some gratitude for how this summit came to be. I had many co-creators within the earthly realm and the spirit realm to bring this vision into life. And so I just want to express my gratitude to lots of the people who were imperative and crucial to bringing this forth. And one of those beings, beautiful beings, is my coach, Jocelyn Marcato. She is an amazing coach. And she has guided me through this journey and helped me manifest this beautiful offering. So thank you, Jocelyn. And I am grateful to just all the beings who have supported me along the way, my animal spirits, my guides, my ancestors who love me unconditionally, and yes, all my allies in this world and beyond. And I'm just so grateful to you because, as I said, you know, we all have busy schedules, and, you know, it's hard to show up for ourselves. It's hard to show up for something that is, you know, not as concrete as, you know, maybe reading a book or something like that. We're just showing up here online, and we're gathering as a global community, and it's energetic, and it's, yeah, it's just a beautiful opportunity. So I'm grateful that you're here. We're all linking hands energetically, linking hearts. And so I wanted to start with a little bit of an opening prayer and an intention. So my intention with this summit and with these conversations is to create a sacred container for all of you, for anyone who is interested in rising as a woman, rising, you know, and showing up for herself as a leader of the new earth. And, you know, I like to say that we're all on this sacred spiral, you know, going upwards towards love, towards service, towards a new way of being. And if you're here, that means that you're ready to commit to that new way of being. So thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring that you are needed, and you are a piece of the puzzle to heal our world. So I'm just gonna tune in for a minute and see if my guides want me to share anything in terms of an opening prayer. So I'm just receiving that today is a new day to be someone new, and to show up as the highest version of yourself. And that is my hope and my intention for you today and with this summit. And also, I would love to invite you to maybe purchase a journal just for this series of conversations, because hopefully there will be lots of nuggets of inspiration and wisdom that you won't want to miss, and that you'll want to record and just get down in writing so that you have it there. I have a notebook that my mom gave me that is perfect for this summit. Yeah, it's called Taking Flight, the Spirit of Flight. So I feel that that's kind of like the theme today. It's us rising, it's us taking flight and into the newest, highest version of ourselves. So, and also it's a beautiful thing to, create an altar for this summit, or, for you, the new version of you, this new visionary vegan woman in you that is being born, that is arising. You can honor this new you through, ritual, ceremony, whatever floats your boat. Is just perfect. And I know I created a little altar for this summit, and it just felt really special. And you can light a candle when one of the seminars is on, and just make a cup of tea maybe, and just snuggle in, sit in, sink deep, and really just be nourished by the wisdom that is here for you, and the healing inspiration that is here for you. So that's just an invitation. And let's see. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the structure for today for my presentation. And I'm just going to start with telling you briefly a little bit about my own story, my own vegan transformation story, because it really helped me to unearth my soul gifts, which I was very out of touch with, because I was out of touch with my soul before I went vegan. And yeah, so I'll start with a little story, a little bit about me, just so you can get to know me. And then I will share the 3 secrets to becoming a wildly successful entrepreneur or advopreneur. And then I will take you on a journey. It's like a meditation to discover some pertinent truths about yourself, about your true self. And we'll see if we can discover some of your soul gifts, just some tokens of wisdom that you hold within you that are just waiting to be uncovered. So yeah, that's just the structure for today. So I'll start with a little bit about me. I guess I'll start from the very beginning, just to give you a full picture of, who I am and how veganism changed my life, and how my love for animals has always led the way, even though I disconnected from it, and led me full circle to what I'm doing today, which is, my business coaching women, which I absolutely is a dream come true for me. So as a young girl, I was very sensitive, very shy, and very withdrawn. And I don't know that I was born this way. I believe that when my father passed away when I was about 3.5, I became disconnected from the world around me. And that's when I really withdrew into myself and started to feel very alone. I felt like a piece of me went missing. Like I lost a part of my soul. Something in my heart was just gone. And there was like this hole, this gaping hole in my heart. And of course, I didn't, at the time as a child, I didn't know that, you know, this was exactly what was happening. This is all, you know, with perspective, with time, looking back. But that is what I was feeling. And I felt this aloneness for so long, and this aloneness and this, you know, disconnectedness led to very strong anxiety and depression towards my young adulthood and even my teens, but mostly culminated in my young adulthood, in my, you know, early 20s, late 20s, and which led me to turn to drugs and alcohol as a way to numb out, I guess, and not feel all the feelings that I had been feeling for so long in my childhood. And so turning to drugs and alcohol was the solution in that moment for me. And that continued through college. And I was modeling at the time, and that was also kind of a soul draining job. And I didn't even realize that either, because all my priorities were very contorted, and I was like feeling like, well, if it's it's helping me feel financially secure, so this is what I need to be doing. It wasn't about what do I want to be doing. It was never about that. And, you know, even as a child or a young adult, when people would ask me, well, what do you want to do? I would say, I don't know, you know, I don't know. But the truth is, I really did know. I knew I wanted to spend my life being of service to animals, being connected to animals in some way, helping them, helping the ones that, you know, were suffering. And I just didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how I could create a life around doing that. So as I was modeling and going to college, I also sought out lots of different jobs, side jobs like dog training, dog walking, pet sitting, you know, you name it, anything that could keep me close to animals. Cause I just thrived in their presence. They felt so comforting to me. You know, their unconditional love for humans and for other beings is just unprecedented. It's just so pure and so magical. So I also, you know, went to Brazil and did this conservation, was on part of this conservation project where, you know, we were researching jaguars, and I was seeking anything to do with that was connected with animals, but I really didn't know how I could create a career around helping them. So life continued on. I was in college, and I decided to get a dog because I knew that animals, especially like a pet, a companion animal, would be so helpful to me for this hole in my heart. I know that I just craved this animal love to help me feel whole again. And so I knew that the answer would be to get a companion animal. And so I researched, and I found this little toy poodle and who ended up being named Bean. And she totally transformed my life once I got her. She was like my little inner GPS. Like whenever I felt lost or hopeless, I would just lay her on my chest, and she would just sit there, you know, melting into my chest, and I would pet her, and all my hormones and oxytocin levels would rise, and she was just my little healer. And I wasn't able to, while I had her, I was starting to really come towards like a downward spiral in my spiritual, just my emotional, I guess you could say, just my emotion, the way I was emotionally, I was emotionally and spiritually bankrupt. I was starting to just decline, even physically, like I wasn't able to show up for even just modeling. It was starting to really get to me. So I ended up calling a friend of mine who brought me to Alcoholics Anonymous, and that is where I started to find, aside from my love for animals, which was so healing, always another solution to my disconnection from the world and from feeling like I was loved or lovable, or that I could love. So, sorry, I'm getting emotional. So AA really helped give me a spiritual solution to kind of become, gain back my emotional maturity in a way. Also, I was able to, lean on a power that was greater than myself versus always, relying on my own self and my self-will. Which before then had only brought me to places, dark places, for the most part. So it was such a relief to finally be able to depend on or devote myself to a power greater than myself, and just know that I didn't have to control everything. Not everything was, needed to be done by me, needed to be fixed by me, needed to be managed by me. There was a divine plan, and I, a lot of the times, could just let go and let my higher power, guide the way. And this was huge for me because I grew up non-religious, and also my mother had found spirituality in her when she was grieving around my father and other things. And I had always kind of been like, no, I don't know, that's too weird for me, So really opening up, being willing to open my mind and my heart to a different way was a huge transition for me, but I did it, and I'm so happy I did, because I later on used the tools that I learned in recovery, surrendering, asking for help when I felt powerless over something, and the knowing that I'm never alone. These things, I used these later on in my life to carve out the true me, and to create and co-create this life that I have now, which is absolutely amazing. But I'll just rewind a little bit where, after finding recovery and starting to learn about myself and starting to reflect on just who I was and why I'm here and the bigger questions, I started to realize that I really was not okay with partaking in eating animal products and consuming them, and just exploiting animals for my own use and my own, taste buds, or greed. And it started to become clearer and clearer to me. However, it was very hard for me to remove or release these animal products from my diet. I guess in my DNA, there's the addictive quality. And for some people, it's very easy to say, you know, to make the decision. I know what's happening out there. I know what's happening to the animals. I love animals. I don't want to do this. And they can do that. For some reason, I wasn't able to do that. I struggled. I really, really struggled. Even as much as I loved animals, as much as I did know what was out there, what was happening to them behind closed doors, my denial won over many times in terms of what I was consuming and putting into my body. So I remember I kind of came to like a crossroads where I was like, well, this is not working. So I would try to release the products. I would try to release dairy, or, you know, I would try to release not eating burgers occasionally at my favorite restaurant. I would try to not eat the things that I grew up loving and the flavors that I grew up loving. And somehow I would just fall off the wagon again, and I would find myself back at that restaurant eating a burger. So it felt very similar to my struggle and powerlessness over with my relationship with drugs and alcohol. And so it felt like it needed a higher solution. It needed a solution that didn't involve my willpower. And what happened was what I really wanted was a guide, you know, or like a manual or a book just to tell me, this is how you stop eating animal products. But, you know, there's millions of books out there that do that. But for some reason, there was something missing for me. And no one was talking about a spiritual solution. No one was saying, like, hand this problem over to your higher power and surrender and let go and see if you'll get assisted in that way, versus you like trying to manhandle this. And so I was like, you know what? Let's do this as an experiment. Let's just surrender these products that my taste buds crave over to a higher power and just see. And I even would write affirmations in my journal. I would say, I am vegan, I am vegan, I am vegan. And I'm a vegan coach, because then eventually I went to nutrition school as well, in the hopes that going to nutrition school and learning about all the facts about, you know, how nutritious a plant-based diet can be, that would help me really, like, you know, tip over, you know, that would be the straw that broke the camel's back, and I would be able to really go vegan for good. But that actually didn't happen. So I did turn to a higher power, and I did surrender. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do this myself. And as much as I love the animals, as much as I know that this is the path for me, I've been conditioned and I really need help. And that help arrived. That help really did arrive. And it arrived in all forms. And primarily one was that a good friend of mine who had been vegan for a very long time ended up sending me a box of artisanal cheeses, plant-based cheeses from a brand called Miyoko's, which if you know vegan cheeses, Miyoko's is like up there with very high level, high quality organic products, whole food ingredients. And when I opened the package, you know, one of my hangups going vegan was, you know, that I wouldn't be able to have cheese pizza, you know, cheese, melted mozzarella, like on pizza. And when I opened the box up, there was a ball of mozzarella from Miyoko's that when I opened it up and I tasted that cheese, I was like, you know what? I can totally do this. That's it. I am vegan. It's done. It's settled. I'm vegan. And that was literally just the last push I needed to just be like, there's no more excuses, Kate. There's no more excuses. Everything that you crave is here in a plant-based form. They're delicious and they're just cruelty-free. So go for it. And so I got the message. I did. My resistance had, had vanished. And I really didn't crave animal products ever since that point. And what was beautiful about making that commitment, once I said, okay, that's it, I'm vegan, it was like telling my soul, it was almost like a contract between my soul or my heart and my body, myself, my personality in this lifetime. It was like saying like they could finally meet and shake hands and agree. And it's like, yes, my soul was like, yes, you finally understand. You finally made it to why you're here. And in fact, the next morning after that, like decision of committing 100% to a vegan lifestyle, I shot up in the morning at like 4 a.m. because I just had this renewed purpose, renewed energy. Like the chi in my body was just reawakened, reinvigorated, because I knew I was aligned. I was fully aligned with what I had always wanted to do, which was not harm animals, but actually help animals. And so I woke up with this new energy, and I felt reborn. And I was ready. I was ready to commit beyond veganism to dedicating my life to serving animals at the highest level I could. And, it's taken me quite a few years to really refine and kind of fine tune exactly how I can best serve, but I'm finally there. And it's taken a lot of different, practices and tools and just ways of being to really key into what I'm here for. But I've finally found it, and I'm just so happy. And this summit is a manifestation of what I'm here to do in terms of, bringing together a community that is like-minded, like-hearted, and just wants the same things that I want for the world. But that just might be scared, or might feel shy, or, if anyone out there is feeling like, yes, she totally gets it. She knows what I'm talking about. This is what I want too, but I just don't feel like I can, I can be working at the highest level of service because I feel too, shy to speak my truth. Then, you're in the right place, because this is my story. And that's my story. And I want to share with you everything that I've learned along the way to really manifest the life of my dreams, the business of my dreams, that allows me to, rise up into that on that sacred spiral of service and love. So, and I want that for you too. So that's a little bit about me. And I wanted to, I guess, get into the 3 secrets to becoming a wildly successful entrepreneur, or advopreneur, as I like to say. So number 1 is heal your witch wound. So I just spoke about how, maybe you're someone that, like me, loves animals, wants to do anything they can to, help them out, but you just don't feel like you would be, like you feel shy thinking of going out there and really just speaking up for them, or, maybe doing a cube of truth and, spewing out all this, very important information about the factory farming and the animal agriculture industries. But so you're scared to kind of move forward in your service to the animals and to the earth. So healing your witch wound is really important. So what I mean by witch wound, witch wound is a term coined by Lisa Lister. She wrote a book called Witch, and it's really for what it speaks about is we all have this wound that blocks our throat chakra, and it happens. It closes up as soon as a woman is stepping into their power and maybe sharing, spiritual truths or messages or universal truths even. It's interesting because this summit was actually it was a journey in healing my witch wound. And I initially, when I first started and first said yes to doing this, creating this summit, I had this awful cough. Okay, I had this awful cough, and it just was like literally like I was suffocating and choking at night when I would cough. Like that's when it was the worst. And then I love how it starts off. It starts up when I start talking about it. And even when I would interview, I had this like fierce need to cough sometimes, and I would have to like mute myself, and in fact, in some of the interviews, you will hear me like clearing my throat or coughing, and just know that that was me like healing my witch wound. I was starting to open up this collective wound that I had from generations and generations and lifetimes of not being able to speak up, not being able to speak my truth, not being able to share the messages of healing with the world. So healing your witch wound is definitely necessary if we want to, gather together and heal the earth. We need to be able to communicate our love for the animals, our truth, we need to be able to communicate clearly and confidently about what we feel is unjust. And we can't be scared to do that. It's our time to really open our mouths and let out whatever's in our heart come out, and not be ashamed, feel guilty, or scared to do that. And interestingly enough, as the interviews as I kept recording the interviews, this cough started to subside, and I did end up having like a dream where I was having a past life regression within my dream about being persecuted, about being chased by these persecutors, these men that did not want me to speak my truth. And so they wanted to burn me at the stake. So I had to run away from these persecutors, and I had to jump off of a bridge into water. And an owl came and dragged me to shore, but at that time I had already drowned. So it was very interesting timing that I had gotten that dream right around the time that I had this like suffocating cough. So, our bodies know what's happening. So they're just trying to like defend us and keep us safe. So, when you feel that like clenching in your throat, but you want to say something, please try to push through the uncomfortability, and like just in small steps you can do this, because it's all about practicing speaking your truth. And that was my experience with the interviews. As I practiced, as I kept communing and talking with these amazing women who were beautifully sharing their truth and confidently sharing their truth, I was just inspired to do the same, and I as a result was able to heal mine. And so that is my wish for you, to really just open your heart chakra. Yes, definitely your heart chakra and your throat chakra, and let them connect and spread your message that you're here to spread. So secret number 2 is practicing menstrual cycle awareness or moon cycle awareness to maximize your results in business, in creativity, in advocacy, in life in general. This has been a absolutely transformational practice for me. I learned about it through my 2 mentors, Shani Hugo Wolitzer and Alexandra Pope, who wrote a book called Wild Power. And it's all about how if we learn to practice menstrual cycle awareness, which is really, a daily recording of how we're feeling, how our bodies are feeling, in the morning and throughout the month, and then noticing patterns of, when our maximum times of activity are, our highest times of activity are, and energy are, versus our lowest times of energy, where we, need most rest and we need to rejuvenate and heal. So usually, typically in a cycle, a woman will need most rest at moontime or menstrual, a time of menstruation, which is the inner winter. They liken the inner seasons of the cycle to the outer seasons that we have in nature. So winter is the time of the new moon. So if you're not menstruating, when it's new moon, it's like you're like day 1 of your cycle. And this is when, it's a time of rest. It's a time of just really cocooning yourself, letting yourself be nourished by the healing forces around you, and also making sure you're nourishing yourself, by getting a lot more sleep, and, supporting yourself with anything that you can think of that you love, that your body loves, like Epsom salt baths. And I recently have learned a lot about homeopathy and these matrodonal remedies, which are very helpful if you've had trauma as a child. So, prayer, meditation, ceremony, ritual, anything that, helps you feel connected to something greater than yourself, the unified field. And because that time of the month for women is the veils are so thin that this is such a beautiful time to connect, and we can vision so clearly at that time. We can, as we're connecting, we can get this guidance coming in that is actually divine guidance to help us not only craft our lives and in service of whatever it is that we most treasure and desire to create. It's going to be guidance that's going to, lead us to what humanity as a collective needs right now the most. So it's very important to not just bulldoze through this time. Like we've been conditioned to, just pop Advil or, pop Advil and even go to the gym and just keep going as if nothing's actually happening in your body. Yet this is such an important time. This is such a key time to, really listen and hear what wants to be heard and what wants to be made known to you specifically. So, so in the inner winter, you would really slow down. You would really Try to take naps if you can. I have 3 children, so naps are pretty tricky to do, but even like micro meditations or micro naps or walks in nature are just so healing and soothing for your nervous system and for connecting into that higher level of guidance. And then as you exit out of the winter, your inner winter, you're going to be moving into spring. Spring is when fresh new ideas want to be born in you. And so we should be nurturing these fresh ideas, these new ideas, but also protecting these fresh new ideas because they're still young. They're like little saplings or like little shoots of grass that are just emerging. And so they don't want to, again, we're not like bulldozing into life and just, or bulldozing through life and just, doing what needs to get done still. We still want to try to be conscious of, what our actions, like how can we still nourish ourselves because we're still tender. We're still tender at that time. And this is about 7 days after this. The inner spring starts about 7 days after you've, had completed your moon time. So however many days that is for you, like 1 through 7 days, then the next 7 days are your springtime. And then from springtime, you move into summertime, which is your ovulatory time. And this is, if you're cycling with the moon, the moon is waxing and it's growing, and the energy is growing just like within you. So whatever the moon is doing, that's what's happening. It's a reflection of what's happening in you as well. And at ovulation and at full moon, you're in your fullest energy and you're out there, you're ready to actually bulldoze through life. You're like super mom if you're a mom, you're super woman, if you're a woman, and it's you're just ready to take on the world and shine your light bright, and your ego self is ready to take charge. So like working with that energy when it's the right time is beautiful because you can get so much done at that time. And then after summer always does come to an end, unlike what our culture tells us. We're supposed to be in full bloom and full, superwoman gear all the time. We move into autumn, and inner autumn is a time to slow down again and start to slow down and really, discern, is this the right thing for me? Did I make the right choices within this month? What do I need to, edit? What do I need to take out so that I can create a beautiful, fresh start for myself next cycle around? And also, what can I clear away to enter into, moon time or menstruation time to be able to support myself to let go as much as possible. So getting those last minute things done, like if you haven't food shopped and if you haven't, if you have to send some emails, or if you have to, it's just like tying up those loose ends. Maybe make some soups for yourself, and freeze them. And then that way during inner winter, you don't have to do that, and you don't have to exert the energy that is not there. And yeah, so this menstrual cycle awareness is such a revelation for me. And I just love sharing it with my clients. It's just been transformational in terms of how to maximize the results that you want in your life, by working in harmony, in alignment with your cycle. So that's secret number 2. Secret number 3 is embrace who you are at soul level. So humanity and the animals, what they need most from you right now is for you to be who you are. And, you know, for so long, I didn't believe that. I just couldn't trust this truth. I felt like I had to do backflips and cartwheels and, you know, jump through hoops in order to be of service or be helpful or make a difference. And that's just so not true. What we all need from you is to be the most authentic version of you, because no one out there is like you. That's what's crazy. Like, we don't believe that. And so we feel like we need to be like someone else in order to make the biggest difference and in order to be successful. Because we see that their followers on Instagram are rising because they're doing these really cool posts every day and being really funny or being really, you know, intelligent. And we're like, oh, I can never do that because I'm not funny and I'm not intelligent, or, you know, but I'm going to try to do something similar. And the truth is that we're not tapping into our own unique gifts when we try to copy someone else, or, you know, we can be inspired by others, but really what we need to do is find out what makes us tick. And that is what's going to make others tick. Like, we need to really just hone in on our true nature, our unique self, in order to help the animals and help the earth, because, you know, we each contain an inner treasure. I like to say, you know, call it an inner pearl or inner pearls. And once we can tap into those, when we join hands as our true selves, and that's my biggest hope for this mission, this summit, and my biggest mission for the summit and for my business is to help create an atmosphere and a container where women feel safe enough to be who they are. And because when we are who we really are, without, you know, these facades and these masks and these, you know, jumping through hoops in order to be accepted and acknowledged and liked, you know, and we embrace our quirks, we embrace our high sensitivity. You know, most of us are sensitive. I know that for me, I resisted being sensitive for so long because I was like, it's so annoying in a way, or I used to think it was annoying to just be so affected by even just seeing images on social media or whatever. But ultimately, this is one of my inner treasures, just as it is for you as a high empath. It's like we have this gift for a reason. We are high empaths because we are needed as high empaths. Otherwise, if we weren't, we would not feel all that pain that is going on, and we wouldn't have the fire within us to change things. So embrace who you are at soul level. This is really who the animals and humanity and the earth and just the collective need you to be right now. So yeah, I guess that would be it. That's the 3 secrets. Oh, I guess let me give you a little bonus secret. And of course, I have lots and lots more secrets for you. And if you want to apply for the one-on-one free gift with me, we can go over some more secrets. But so a bonus secret to becoming a wildly successful advopreneur, as well as unearthing your soul gifts, is that, you know, you can always ask for help. You don't have to do anything alone. And I think that my personal story shows this truth so well, in that I always feel like I have to do everything alone. And that's my first reaction, is to, you know, use my willpower, use my brain to make sure that I can finish or complete a project, or, you know, if I'm going through a transition. I was just recently I was breastfeeding my last child, my 3rd child, And I didn't know how I was going to wean him. And I was like so nervous about it because it's such an emotional thing. And, you know, as your last child, you're like, oh, maybe I should just do it for longer and longer. And I felt guilty and all this, but ultimately I know now what to do. And what I did was I prayed for help. I asked for help. And prayer doesn't have to be like religious prayer. When I say pray, it just means, and I really don't want anyone to be alarmed by these words. If they're not for you, just use a different word. Asking for help mentally can work. That is a form of prayer in a way. So I just asked for help in this transition to weaning my child, and I received that help. He was like way cooler about it than I thought. I totally was okay with it. I thought he was going to scream and cry and it was going to be this huge thing. And meanwhile, I've weaned 2 children before him. So you would think I have some experience, but I was so caught up in the emotionality of it all that I just couldn't see beyond it. And so I really just truly believed that it was going to be really, really hard. And when I asked for help, it turned out to be just very smooth. And you can ask for help for like this. May seem silly, but like sometimes I don't even know what to cook at night. And I'm like, please, can someone help me figure out what I'm going to make tonight? Because I have no idea. And a lot of the time I can be flipping through and then after that I'll be flipping through a recipe book, or whatever, or it will just open up on a certain page and then I happen to have all the ingredients for it. And it's a simple recipe or whatever. So these kinds of things, happen. And just like when I asked for help for, in releasing the animal products and in releasing drugs and alcohol before that, like that help came in the form of, on the earthly realm and in the spirit realm, that help came. There's no doubt about it. And you really are never alone. Growing up, I really felt so alone. I felt this disconnection from the world, and that's what created all these patterns of behavior in me that were not self-supportive or strengthening or nourishing. They were the opposite. They were destructive. So, just remembering that you're not alone. Right now, I'm sure I have all my team behind me. And I know you do too, as you take your steps forward to become a visionary vegan woman. Now I wanted to take us on a little journey to find out some little nuggets of truth about yourself that you may be wondering, and hopefully we can find out some answers that will help you on your path to the highest version of yourself. So I'm going to share the screen to show a picture. And that way you can look at that if you like not closing your eyes, but you can also close your eyes. I'm going to play a drum track and I will guide you. So you can just sit back and relax and just follow along and be open. You can't get this wrong. And if answers don't come right away, just trust that they will come, within the next few days, few weeks, months even, but they will come, and they will come and be pretty clear. And that's my experience, and I trust that will be your experience as well. So here's the drum track. It has some bird sounds in the background as well. So taking some deep breaths. Feel your body connecting to the earth below your feet. Continue breathing. And you can begin to imagine that your crown chakra is starting to open and blossom just like a flower. And you sense that through this opening, the light of the sky can start to pour into your crown and cascade into and around you. And just feel it streaming down, flowing into every crevice of your body, down through your fingertips, down to your toes. And once you're feeling really filled up by this sky energy, now you can start to feel the earth energy rising up in through the soles of your feet. You can sense that nourishing, supportive, unconditionally loving energy of Mother Earth flowing into you like hot, bubbly, molten lava. This energy is grounding yet fiery, and as it mixes with that cool, crystalline air of the heavens, you are able to let go and release anything stagnant inside of you. So all those places that have been stuck in the past, all that resistance, all that fear, that's loosening up right now. And it's being freed up so that there's more space for all this healing, beautiful healing light to be within you. Now you can allow this cosmic mixture of light to run through your veins, your arteries, your heart, as it floods every nook and cranny of your precious body temple. So you may feel some tingling and you may feel nothing. Just notice what's going on for you right now. So take another deep breath. Imagine that you're somewhere in nature that you absolutely adore, that nourishes you, that brings you alive, that feeds your cells. And you could be on the soft velvety grass in a meadow filled with wildflowers, or you could be sitting in a forest with the scent of pine needles where you find a tree to sit on or sit and lean on, and you just feel that extra sense of support in that tree. But just know that wherever you choose is perfect for you and what you need most right now. Now imagine that you sense you are not alone and that a loving being wants to make themselves known to you. And there's a layer of mist that is surrounding you now, but it's starting to become thinner. As this mist is fading, you find yourself face to face with a beautiful and very cherished and very loved guide. Who is this guide? What do they mean to you? Do you know who they are? Do you know where they're from? Do you telepathically or verbally receive a message from this guide as to why they have come to you? You find yourself rejoicing in the opportunity to be with this personal guide so closely and so intimately as they radiate this pure, loving energy to you. You realize that this guide resides in your heart all the time and has the answers to many questions you deeply desire to know. So you take the opportunity to ask them some right now. So ask your guide, why have I come here in this lifetime? I'm going to give you a few minutes. What is the sacred medicine only I hold? And just remember that answers can come in the form of symbols, just as well as words or sensations. Anything that you receive right now is perfect. And if you're not receiving anything at all, just trust. Just stay with your guide and trust that an answer will be coming to you soon. So now ask your guide, am I ready to shine? Is this really my time? Ask your guide, will you assist me in my sacred mission? Will you assist me in fulfilling my sacred mission? And then you can ask your guide for a gift or a token to remember or remind you what your mission is, or remind you of this guide who is helping you and assisting you to fulfill this mission. Once you receive this gift, this symbol, this token of your guide's love, thank him or her for their loving energy and watch as they fade back into the mist. Trust and know that this being is always with you in your heart, and you can return to this guide whenever you wish. Now let's take some deep breaths as we begin to return our awareness back into our bodies. And you can open your eyes if you wish when you are ready. And I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes here to just journal about your experience, or you can, if you don't feel like journaling, you can just sit there for a few more minutes and soak in what has just transpired for you, what you've just experienced, and some of the answers that may have been received or revealed to you. So welcome back, and I hope that was an enjoyable meditation and that you've received some clarity around certain things. And again, remember that clarity and answers can show up in the world around you through messages from animals that may cross your path, or just synchronicities in your life that are undeniable. And that's the fun of life, right? Being present for the magic to happen. So thank you for being with me today. I hope that my talk has helped you in some way, and I hope that this offering of the global online event that I created is going to inspire you and empower you to be your highest version of yourself, and that you will help thousands and thousands of animals, and just help heal the world by being exactly who you are. So again, thank you, and many wishes, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you. Take care.